Dance or sculpture, they are not just uh, for the purpose of entertainment, but they have within them, in these art forms, there is a concept of loka kalyana on one aspect and moksha sadhana the other part of it.
Ramappa Temple, the only temple in India named after its architect, is a magnificent testament to the exquisite Kakatiya style of architecture. It is also known as the Rudreshwara Temple after the Kakatiya rulers Rudradeva and Rachirla Rudra, under whose patronage it was built between the periods 1123 to 1323 CE. As a significant Hindu temple dedicated to Lord Shiva, it holds deep spiritual and cultural significance. Nestled in the heart of Telangana, close to its capital Hyderabad, this architectural marvel is built of red sandstone and is adorned with black bracket figurines, showcasing several dance postures along with several intricate carvings of hairstyles, jewelry, and attire. Ramappa Temple received the World Heritage Tag in the year 2021, making it the only historical structure in the Telugu states to have received the honor. To delve further into the grandeur of the Ramappa Temple, we have with us eminent art historian Dr. Choodamani Nandagopal, who is renowned for her extensive research and publications of an illustrated volume dedicated to Ramappa Temple. It is significant to note that her scholarly endeavors have been instrumental in establishing the cultural and human values inherent in the temple, resulting in a comprehensive dossier required for the UNESCO.
Since the early era of civilization or the dawn of civilization, the Indian culture is strongly expressed through music, dance, theatre, architecture, sculpture, painting, and temple arts. These expressive art forms are inner strength of that experience which marks the realization of spiritual knowledge. Sculpture, they are not just for the purpose of entertainment, but they have within them, in these art forms, so the early dance sculptures, which are suggested as dance sculptures from Indus civilization. So they emerge from Indus civilization. It's a very small, the dancing girl, just 4 inches, Mohenjo-daro, coming from Mohenjo-daro, which is kept in National Museum even today. But apart from the facial features and the jewelry and all these things, which everyone discuss and which is very prominently, profusely expressed here, but the posture, that is what is interesting, is well defined. And we have some panels and some loose sculptures from Barut Stupa, and the one panel that you are seeing here, a panel of dancers and musicians, and you can see 4 dancers and a number of musicians sitting and playing on the musical instruments. Very interesting, we can trace out the development of musical instruments through this particular panel. Very interesting and very useful panel it is to understand what was the kind of traditions practiced both music and dance in the 2nd century BC of the Shunga period. The other one, what you have here is the Chandra Yakshi. You can see the very, very, clear Abhanga form and foot movement, the Kutita movement is very clear in this Chandra Yakshi, sculpture. And the third one, which 3 dancers, very interesting from Nagarjuna Konda. All the 3 dancers are in the cross-legged position and they are in a very clear movement. Very nicely, the sculptor has brought the movement in this particular sculpture. All of them are holding each other. So this suggests like, Shrinkhala, the movement of the Shrinkhala, which we find the Natya Shastra discusses in detail. The very early dance sculptures, you can say that one of the Salabhanjika is you find in all of you know that, it is in Sanchi, the Toranas, you find the first Salabhanjikas, the movement, the free movement of Salabhanjika, you can experience that. And after that, Salabhanjika becomes so important in all temple architecture. Now we come to the proper dance sculptures. You see that the earliest dance sculpture in India displaying Bharatagama and the Natya Shastra of Bharata. So this is the dancing Shiva from Badami, cave number 1, early Chalukyan, and the date is also known as 560. Find a perfect figure having all Natya Shastra components as in this particular sculpture. In temple architecture, they provided space for rituals, dance rituals. So in Navaranga of Halebeedu temple, 12th century Hoysala style, you have circular platform before the god. So the dance rituals used to take place. Now I made these dance sculptures in 4 groupings. First, we find the dance sculptures on facades and friezes. Secondly, we find on the gateways. The gateway, the 3 gateway figurines are in the dancing mode. And the 3 is Nritya Ranga Bhumika, the central hall. That is like, mesmerizing space. If you just enter there, you feel that the entire, the panorama of dance is taking place there. And the 4th is bracket figures, which are known as Chitra Putrikas. Now on the dancers on the facade, the Bhitti, if you just walk around Ramappa temple, you see that, the Bhitti are beautifully created, and the base of that is a number of dancing figures and musical instruments. They are playing on musical instruments. Whether it is Nandi Mantapa or the main temple, you find the facade or the friezes are very interestingly created in the red sandstone, so beautifully suited for this kind of expression. Now this is one enlarged form of one facade where you find on the frieze a dancer is in the Vishlishta Chari. Nandi Mantapa is one of the very interesting place in Ramappa temple, and so many dance sculptures we identified there, and one of them is the Darpana Sundari, and which you can see here. So then we have this great place, Nritya Ranga Bhumika. See, in my lifetime, I have not seen such a large platform as Ramappa temple. So now we come to the Nritya Ranga Bhumika, where we have the beams. You must have observed the beams, and the beams are used for the purpose of the dance theme. So beautifully, the dancing Shiva, and with his retinue, he is dancing, even as Gajasura Samhara Mardana, he is dancing. So this is the pillar. All of you are fascinated, I am very sure, of the pillars of this Ramappa temple. And they are, apart from their technicality, I'm concentrating on the dance part. This is the Pindi Bandha. Pindi Bandha is one of the, as I said, Shrinkala, Pindi Bandha, these are the Bharata's Natya Shastra mentions about the group dancing. So this is a group dance where the Pindi Bandha movements are depicted. So this is the Perani Natya. You see the dancer, how he uses the bells, the gejje or the gungru, such heavy bells he has to wear. And the Perani Natya is basically the male dance. We find in the many temples of Hoysala as well as Kalyan Chalukyan period temples, we find these dancers. Also in our Ramappa temple, this particular panel. And this is the Gaundali Natya, where the dancer uses the drums, small drums, kettle drums, and with that she dances, she sings. And we have in Ramappa temple as well as in Hoysala temple. And another interesting place is this Makara Torana, which is the architrave. Beautiful it is as a sculptural piece, but if you go into the close proximity of that and try to analyze that, you find many, many dance forms and musical instruments. And the way of playing that, this is what you find so beautifully in this particular Makara Torana. And this is the one example I'm showing. We have many such sculptures. So how the movement is taken place in this particular Jalandhara. It's one of the best Jalandhara we find the dancers and musicians. And this is the theme of the central ceiling. You find the 8 Ashtadikpalakas. They are again in dance form. It is rare you find Ashtadikpalakas are in dancing form. All of them are in dancing mode. I'll show you the details. One of the Ishana Dikpala, you can see that he is dancing, and similarly all the other 7 are in the dancing. And when you go into the layers and layers of particularly this ceiling, you find so many dancers there, and you can see those layers. This is what is very interesting for me, as architecturally as well as sculptures, the theme is very interesting space. And this is the central part of it, Shiva dancing in the central part along with the retinue of all the dancers. And this is that particular dancing Shiva is suspended in the central part. And these are the bracket figures, the Chitraputrikas, I call it, 12 of them. These are the 6 of them, and these are other 6 of them. So to come to dance imagery, dance and sculpture are 2 different and distinctive arts used as vehicles to express human emotions aesthetically. But both the arts have chosen the human body as the means for exposition. The rasa theory is common to dance and sculpture. Evoking rasa or rasotpatti in the minds of the onlookers is the ultimate aim of both the dancer and the sculptor. So the construction of temples and religious structures gave room to the expression of these dual arts on a common platform. Thus, Indian temples are not just religious structures, they are the milestones of artistic excellence achieved by the sculptors and artists of bygone era. In ancient India, dance and sculpture were interdependent art forms deeply interlinked in the social, cultural, historical, and religious lives of people.
As we conclude our journey through the dance sculptures at the Ramappa temple, we are reminded of the timeless beauty and cultural significance they hold. These sculptures not only captivate our senses but also connect us to the rich traditions and artistic expressions of the past.
Pleach India.